And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. How are we feeling, people? Shocked, amazed, excited, bewildered, or very, very valid because Rassie Erasmus has announced one of the most mental Bok teams we've seen. Every single time we think that Rassie Erasmus can't surprise us, for example, can't go any bolder or any different, he goes and creates something like this. And I'll tell you who's not going to be very happy about this is Bill Beaumont and World Rugby because we've come with a 7-1 split. And it's a stupidly good 7-1 split as well. I mean, we're going to go through some of the stats about the experience on the bench. But it's just a bit childish, to be honest, in the best possible way. But look at that bench. I mean, we are talking about Sia Khaleesi, Peter Steph the Toy. Hang on, I've got what's going on here. Shush. Jasper Wiese, Malcolm Marx, Arceus Neyman, Gerard Stennekamp, Vincent Koch. It's childish. And I want to try and bring up the stats about I'm getting lost over here. Because the total on the bench that always tells us these stats. Where is it? So now they don't do it because they always do it. They talked about the number of caps. Now they haven't actually added the caps. That's very frustrating. But it's silly. I mean, if you look at the caps very quickly, it's 73 from Malcolm Marx, 8 from Gerard Stennekamp, 58 from Vincent Koch, 37 from Arceus Neyman, 89 from Sia Khaleesi, 84 from Peter Steph the Toy, Jasper Wiese with 31, Grant Williams with 15. I challenge. In fact, we've got a video going up on Forever Box right now, and I'm calling it the greatest rugby bench ever. I don't think that's that far off from the truth, to be honest. If you can go and find a bench, for example, that is stronger than that throughout rugby history, I'll be very, very impressed. Because it's just ridiculous. And very interested to see what the reactions are going to be from the media, from the rugby fraternity about this team and about the bench that Rassie has picked. Look, I'm in for it. I'm 100% in for it because you are giving players a chance, but at the same time, we're talking about a bench like that where if anything's going wrong, for example, for whatever reason, we've got the cover. So I'm going to put a poll in the comments saying, do you like the Springbok team? Simple yes, no question. And if you don't like it, why don't you like it? What don't you like about it? Is it risky? Is it too risky, for example? Or do you think we can cope? What are your thoughts? We're going to talk about some of the risks, for example. Because there are risks. There are always risks with the 7-1 split. There's risks with the 6-2 split. So we'll talk about the risks in terms of not having potential like a fly half option, goal kicking becoming a potential issue, who's going to potentially play in the centres. So there are always risks involved with a team selection like this. Let's not kid ourselves. But can those be mitigated? So the big milestone this weekend is that Kwagga Smith will make his 50th appearance for the Boks. How cool is that, by the way? How deserved from a player who was once called too small, can't be a forward, can never be a professional rugby player, or let alone a Springbok, and now he's going to play 50 games for the Boks and might go down as one of the best impact players of all time, and such a deserving character as well. Really down-to-earth person, very humble, very nice guy, just your ordinary Joe type of person. And for him to get to 50 caps is going to be truly something quite special. Apart from that, Willie le Roux will make his 98th appearance, which means that if he appears in every game this alternation, which I don't think he will, he'll get to his 100. I reckon he'll probably play this game, and he'll come on against Wales. And I think next year, if there's a game in Bloemfontein against Italy, then I think we'll see Willie le Roux bring up his 100th over there. And he's going to deserve it as well. I don't mind getting to his 100, to be honest. He doesn't make the team. He's still good enough to be there. If he was 5 years younger, he'd be involved and he'd be in the long-term plans. He's just getting on in age. But I think he brings a lot to the squad. I think that he, especially with no Damien Willemse, for example. So if we look at, for example, the front row, it's a world-class front row. Thomas du Toit is in, due to injury to Frans Mahova, for example, but he would have started anyway. If we'd gone with our strongest team, he would have started anyway, I think. Tied 5, which is, the injury room. So the injury room is taken care of. You're going to have a very good strum. You're going to make sure you're going to have... he's now, replacing a Peter Steph the Toy, for example. but he deserves it, and he's really, really worked hard to get there. So very, very happy to see him get that opportunity. And once again, we're talking about the low-risk selections. Look at that halfback pairing. Jaden Hendrickse and Handré Pollard. Also, for me, very low risk. Jaden Hendrickse I think he's world-class. I think he brings so much to the team. I think he'll start many a game for the Boks. I think he will be our starting scrum half moving forward. And, the Iceman, Handré Pollard, all the experience in the world. He'll be able to marshal this team. Jaden Hendrickse also offers you a second goal-kicking option, by the way. Someone was asking that in our other video in terms of, what's going to happen if we need to go kick for goal. Jaden Hendrickse does offer you that option. So you don't need to worry about that too much. And then again, experience at 13 and Lekanya, experience at 15 and Billy LaRue. Between those two, they've got 130-something caps. So, yes, it's not a combination. We've seen a lot in Andre Estes and Lekanya, but no one's going to call Andre Estes an inexperienced, for example. Kane Moody is the youngest player in the squad, but has got 11 caps to his name. Maxwell Mapimpi, 45 caps. And it's funny how Maxwell Mapimpi were talking about him not making the World Cup, and he was quite upfront about the fact that he doesn't think he'll make the next World Cup. But he's now circling around that 50 mark. He'll make his 46th appearance this weekend. So I think, again, we'll see him get to 50, and I personally think we'll start to see him phased out. I think Edinburgh Merwe has got a big opportunity to potentially come through and take a spot and long term moving forward. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see Maxwell Mapimpi for years and years to come. I think that he will start to sort of be phased out a little bit, but he deserves to be there at the moment. And to be fair, I don't think anyone's going to argue his form. He must be one of the highest top performing wings we've ever had, especially from a striker point of view. So I'm just checking to make sure somebody said something about the sound. I'm trying to see if it's fixed itself. Yeah, seems to have sorted itself out, whatever the issue was. So yeah. And then Billy LaRue at fullback, all the experience in the world. Now, if things do go badly and we are behind, we then throw on the new squad, as people started to call it earlier this year. Malcolm Marx, Hero Steenekamp, Arceus Neyman, Siya Kolisi, Peter Steph the Toy, Jasper Wiese, Grant Williams. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. You shouldn't be allowed to have a bench like that. How we've managed to get to a situation where that is our bench is slightly childish, as I've said before. But really, though, it's also a bench that is quite adaptable. But the main thing is, if you're 5 to 10 points behind, you throw on that bench, and good luck coping with it. Now, the big question is, where are the risks? And that's always the big thing, isn't it? Risk versus reward. So the risks in this team are obviously in the back line. So your options, for example, at 10, if Pollard goes down, what are your options at 10? Now, you can go Billy LaRue. That would be sort of the main one. Other options there, probably play at Andre Estes, and if you really needed to, at 10, he does kick well off his left boot, but you don't have a lot of options at 10. Jaden Hendrickse could probably also go in at 10. So those are probably your real issues. But other than that, in terms of centers, for example, Lekanya has been playing at inside center. So if Esterhuizen goes down, Lekanya will go to 12. Kenny Moody will go to 13. And Grant Williams will come on at 14. Grant Williams has played in the wing before, so that makes that quite easy. If Billy LaRue goes down, Kane Moody for me will probably go to 15. Once again, Grant Williams goes to the wing. If Lekanya goes, so we've basically got it pretty covered with those forwards. And this is the whole thing about the adaptability and the versatility of players. The fact that Kane Moody covers 15, 14, 13. Ideally not 15. They'll want Billy to play the full 15, but he can if we need him to. Lekanya can play at 13, 12, 14. Billy LaRue can play at 15 and 10. Pollard can play at 12. Not that he'll ever move there this weekend. But Hendrickse can probably do a job at 10 as well. Grant Williams coming off the bench can play on the wing. So that's how we can get away with something like a 7-1 split, because we've got players who can play in different positions to cover any sort of potential injury crises and the likes. So those are some of the risks. The risks are always in the back line. There's no risks in the forward whatsoever. You've got a backup for every single one. In fact, some of them have got 2 backups. You're never going to have to worry about any forwards with a 7-1 split. But looking at some of the comments, T-Soak says, okay, that's the sound. I think that's sorted itself out. W saying, should do a 7-1 Twickenham to really piss off Bill Beaumont. Margaret said, based on the team called, I think it's wet weather. Yeah, I think the conditions in Edinburgh generally are quite wet. we've seen mixed videos and stuff like that throughout the week in terms of some of the conditions. So difficult to know exactly what we're going to see come Sunday. But it is a team that can very much arm wrestle a result if needs be, which might well be the case. Then you've got Double saying, is that cap number 98 for Billy? It is indeed. Kenneth saying, don't like this team, risky. Guy Stewart saying, I have a bad feeling about this one. Double saying, that could be how you get those old guys 2027 off the bench, less minutes, but add impact. And Albert and Lincoln saying, Matt Williams is going to have an aneurysm. Yeah, not wrong. Not wrong. I'll be very interested to see what the chats are going to be and the reaction is going to be from the pundits and the likes about this team and you know whether it's dangerous and you know and this is why the you know subs need to be banned and stuff like that. I don't have any time for it, to be honest. Even if you reduce the subs, you know, if we reduce the subs to 7 subs, for example, we go back to 7 subs. What's to stop South Africa doing 6-1, for example, and they'll still have that numerical advantage with extra forward. So I don't think that really changes things. You know, if you start then saying you can only just replace a player who's injured, in inverted commas, I think that's far too much open for interpretation. A player could be injured, in inverted commas, and stuff like that. And you don't want to sit there. You also don't see people like, you know, getting concussed, and then people are like, oh, well, he's probably not concussed. They're just trying to, like, you know, manipulate the system. And then you've got people doubting people's genuine, you know, head injuries. So I think that's a bit of a moot point, to be honest. But you got to go to some other comments, and HP Hugo saying, oh, wow, that was basically our response as well. Chomp Nick saying the fact that we can actually have a bench like this just shows the amount of depth we have in this country. Victor saying he honestly didn't see this one coming. Reese saying need to blood Ulrich going forward. Well, he's getting a nice start. Culture saying kind of disappointed to not see Cameron Honeycomb at 8, but still think it's a solid team. And nicely said PSF's toy is a wing. Well, they have said that he can play on the wing if really needs be. And obviously with Quacker Smith, you can run around on the wing as well. He'd be the first one to go through. I reckon just release Khaleesi in the centres. Put him at inside centre as a crash ball. I think it'd operate. Why not, really? You know, come on now, people. Let's be creative about this. So far the poll, by the way, is enjoying the team. 18% says no. A couple of people are worried about the makeup of the back line in terms of injuries and stuff, which is a fair concern to have. Contender saying, call this the German split because of what happened in 2014 Brazil versus Germany 7-1. Adrian saying, could always scrum on 8? Yeah, he could. And Nolan saying, good team. It is. I think it is a good team. I think it's a fun team. I'm quite. They're all. I don't know. I mean, there is always a risk, for example, and you got to trust the coaching staff. In Scotland, I think Gregor Townsend would have named his side. Actually, maybe we can have a look at that as well. Try again. I'm going to try and find Twitter. I want to try and see what the Scottish team, because I want to see what Gregor Townsend has named. But to be fair, Gregor Townsend is not going to change his team because of the 7-1 split. He's not going to suddenly go, oh, listen, Finn, you've been benched, and we're actually going to go with an 8-0 split. But interesting, by the way, Khaleesi has been named on the bench for the first time since 2019 in the Rugby World Cup match. I just want to make sure that Rassie Erasmus is just following Scotland. Yeah, he is. Classic. Let me actually use that to go to the Scotland thing. Here we go. Gregor Townsend has given his thoughts. There's the team. Right. Let me actually put this on the screen, and then we can really. It's a nice team, actually. By the way, they're going with a 6-2 split. So Scotland have gone with a 6-2 split, and there's no doubt that's to try and counteract what they're probably expected to be a box 6-2 split, but now it's a box 7-1 split. So, you know, really, and look, conditions are supposed to be very wet, so kind of makes sense. We'll put the team onto the screen as soon as it stops downloading in a bad format. Drives me up the wall. Elon, there's one thing you can just change. Can we just download images off Twitter as normal JPEGs? Like just standard, not this different format and the likes. Now I'm having to convert it. Yeah, it's just a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. I just want to show you guys the team. I don't feel like we're asking a lot, but apparently... Here we go, and download. Now we're getting somewhere, people. Now we're getting somewhere. Right, let's throw the Scotland team up, shall we? Right, that is who we're playing against. So let's go through it. Piers Kuhlman, Ewan Ashman, Xander Ferguson, Grant Gilchrist, Scott Cummings, Matt Ferguson, Rory Dodge, Jack Dempsey. You probably could have predicted that team. Dylan Richardson on the bench, though, is quite cool to see. He'll get an opportunity to play against his South African compatriots. You then got Ben White and Finn Russell in the halfback pairing. Johan van der Merwe, Blair Kinghorn, and Tom Jordan. Now, that's quite an interesting one. Blair Kinghorn at 14 because of the injury to Darcy Graham. Tom Jordan, we haven't seen a lot of Tom Jordan at 26 years old. He is a talented player. I think him at fullback is quite an interesting selection itself. He usually plays at fly half. And I've really enjoyed watching him play at Glasgow Warriors. I think he's a tremendous player. So I think that's in itself quite an interesting selection. Blair Kinghorn at 14, quite a big player. We're up against Michael Zorma-Pimpy. They might have thought that maybe you're going to be up against a Kirk Lawrence or the likes. And Sino Tupolotto and Hugh Jones in the centres. They are so, so good. I love watching those two play rugby together. I think Hugh Jones is absolutely world class, and I think Tupolotto has only gotten better and better, and will keep getting better. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that Scotland's got a nice backline. I just look at that pack and I just don't see how they compete. And then off the bench, Dylan Richardson, Rory Sutherland, Elliot Miller-Mills, Max Williamson, Josh Bayliss, Jamie Ritchie, Jamie Dobie, and Stafford McDowell. So it is a 6-2 split. I don't think it's enough there, to be honest. I don't think the box will suddenly see them and be like, oh, hang on, we didn't actually plan for that, because it's a good side, but it's from a forwards perspective, if it's wet, I think we'll cope. A lot of this comes down to Finn Russell, man on screen. If he has a good day, and he has one of those days, he can cause a lot of chaos, and he can cause you a lot of grief. He's that good of a player. But unfortunately for him, he's going to be behind a pack where I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure. And what are we going over say? What are we saying? Going up to some of the other comments. Pumelelo saying if they're picked in the Springbok team, they should be ready to play. Finally says there's a reason for Kwaka at number 8. It's test number 50. Albert saying perfect bench for a wet game. Samita says a good team still don't rate Kwaka at 8. W says really wanted Wilco to play, but no complaints really. Contender says I did feel it coming that Khaleesi wouldn't be captain for the game. Really knows how to do the job on an experience 15 like Jordan. Can't lie, the thought of Kwaka on wing is becoming nearly a reality. Evan Etzebeth, by the way, is captain of the box. Andre says I would have played Jaden or Fassi at 15. That's my thought. I suppose you mean Jordan. Jaden being a scrum off, but could have had Jordan Hendricks at 15. That obviously would have covered 12 and 10 as well. And as Jan said, this is the nuke squad. Albert saying Lut is the best line caller and jumper in the world if fit. The if fit is probably the issue. In terms of when and if he'll eventually be back to full fitness. Available for the box. So he says, after the initial uproar when the box started doing the 6-2 split, most international sides are going with it. Wonder whether we'll see another country try a 7-1 at some point. Ricardo saying, our pack will dominate, especially the bomb squad. Davis said, Dylan Richardson being their 16 says a lot about their quality, respectfully. Well, I think Dylan Richardson's been playing quite well recently, actually. Look, there are missing a couple of players to injuries. I'm not entirely sure what's happening with George Turner, who I think is a very... I don't know if he's still... I think he's still available. I think he's a great player. I don't know if he's currently... Yeah, I don't know if he's actually available because he went to Japan. But, yeah, we'll move back to the box squad. There we go. So people can continue commenting on that. Peter saying, I wonder who released their team first. Springboks or Scotland? I'm sure Scotland would have made a few changes if they could after seeing a 7-1 split. Keane saying, I think Ulrich will be assigned to catch the ball in place of Kwaka. And WK says, what a shy team. Honestly, I have no clue what Russia is trying to achieve. Very disappointing team. Let's bookmark that one, I think. I think that could be a good bookmarkable comment. Because question Russia at your own peril. We just not say that you can't, but just say how often do we all go, what the hell are you doing? And then it works and you're like, yeah, I'll be fair, I suppose. So I'm really hoping it's going to be a similar sort of situation to that on Sunday. Jan Pien saying, I don't know about defense will be a problem at 13. No problem at all. Kanya is absolutely world class. He'll be absolutely fine at fullback. I have no doubt. I mean, at 13, he was playing some of the best rugby, even defensively, in the world for the injury. And I think it's time for him to get back to that kind of form. He's looking really good for the Sharks as well, looking back and fast. And Keane says, keeping our 18 backline fresh for England. That's also a big thing, you know. Next week, we'll probably be releasing Delende, Creel, Colby, Aronsa, maybe Marty Liebach, Fassi, for example. So, all those players get a bit of a break. Not that they really need it, especially the Japan-based players. But they will get a break, which means that they will be very fit and ready to go next weekend for England. But given the conditions, the 7-1 split could be revelation, really. It could be a masterstroke of a call from Rassie Erasmus. The biggest thing is we have to wait and see, don't we? So it's exciting. There's a lot of reason to be excited about it because, you know, anytime you see a 7-1 split, it's going to be a lot of controversy about it. But I just think it's such a safe, relatively safe 7-1 split in terms of the pack being so good and so dominant that we'll be able to cope. Even if there are a couple of backline injuries, for example, you keep it nice and tight. If you have to, you play 10-man rugby and off you go. Eric says, Esterhuizen has not busted the game line much for the Sharks, but he's an effective first receiver from Rucks. I was saying the Scott centre pair is not in the top 4 in the world, so it won't bother us. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that Delende and Creel are better than them. I think that Gary Ringrose and Bundy Aki, or Robbie Henshaw and Bundy Aki, are probably better than them. After that, I mean, Dante and Fiku on their day, probably, but I think that they're up there, to be honest. I think that centre pairing is actually one of their strongest parts of the game. I think they've got such a good relationship with each other. They know each other so well that I think they're very, very effective. Maximilian saying, surely they'll go with Pollard again for England. And Pomenato says, I just need to see the newer players take the jerseys from the older players. That's the only way to build freshness and depth. Positions must be taken, not given. Yeah, I like the concept, you know. It is about that. And that's why someone like an Ulrich Lowe, he's really earned the start because he's coming from the outside. He wasn't in the mix, you know. He wasn't supposed to be in the mix if we go back 3-4 months ago. But injuries and opportunities have presented themselves and he's taken them with both hands. Now he's getting a start. And that's the main thing. You want players to be like, oh, hang on, you know, I've now been given a chance here. Let me go and really use it. And I think he's a player that has really used it. And now look how he's getting, you know, rewarded for it. In terms of some of the stats, by the way, for this weekend, our record against Scotland is played 29, won 24, lost 5. 82.7% win rate. If we look at some other stats, the Springboks have won 8 successive tests against Scotland. The last time they lost was 21-17 back in 2010, 14 years ago. We have won 8 out of 10 matches in 2024 by an average score of 34 points to 17, averaging 4 tries to 2. Would really like to score 4 tries this weekend and really like to concede less than 2 this weekend, if we're being brutally honest. Eamon Etzebeth, by the way, will extend his Springbok record of 129 test appearances and will captain South Africa for the 14th time. Malcolm Marx and Maxwell and Pimpy have each scored 4 tries in 2024, the most by a Springbok player this year, and equal with Apelid Fast and Kirkley Aronsa, who are not in the match day 23. Other comments over here. Ricardo saying 7-1 split is a brilliant move. We play into our strength forward dominance. Boer and Basin saying, where is Faf? He's not actually over there. Whether he was injured or left out, we're still actually trying to find out, but he's not in the squad is the main thing. If you look at Adrian's, he's got to say that I thought the Japanese players would get some minutes before England, so players like Colby and Creel going in cold. Yeah, I suppose they are, if you want to look at it that way, but I also think they're playing so much rugby consistently that I don't think they'll be as cold. Also, they talk about the fact that, you know, in training, the intensity is so high that it's like playing test rugby, and that's something also the main thing. When you've got depth, it's not just about the depth on the day, it's depth of training. You know, you're training against guys who are as good as you. and you're really being pushed a lot when it comes to training and the like. So I think from that perspective, I'm not too worried about them being cold inverted commas. In terms of the weekend ahead, by the way, that's what I actually wanted to chat about. I just wanted to put up the schedule. We will be live tonight. So it's our first live of 2 live streams today because we've got an absolute corker of a game coming up this evening. It is Ireland versus New Zealand at 10:10. It's going to be a late one. It's going to be a late one. We have to graft through it here, people. We have to keep ourselves awake here. But we will be live later for that game, which is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited for it. And then tomorrow we'll be live for England versus Australia. That kickoff is at 5:10, as was Italy versus Argentina after that, which should be a lot of fun. We will be doing a tracker for France versus Japan, but then we'll be live once again on a Saturday with Scotland versus South Africa. Obviously, the main game of the weekend that we're going to cover. So check it out as well. While I've also got you here, guys, I'm going to send you, put a link in the description, in the comments, and please go give it a subscribe, because you guys asked for this. Subscribe to our dedicated Springbok channel. You know, we've been engaging a lot of people in different formats and stuff like that, and the one thing lots of people have been asking is dedicated place for Springbok content. Where can they go to find everything Springbok related? Now, obviously, most of the content we do is centered around the box, but we do other content like New Zealand versus Ireland, like Australia versus England tomorrow, and the likes, URC, the whole thing. That all happens over here on Forever Sports, the Forever Sports channel. We have launched a dedicated Springbok channel called Forever Box, and on that, for example, we've got the profiles for the players, for the team, which is quite cool to go and check out. We've got a video where I speak about is this the best Springbok bench ever. Yesterday, we did a ranking on the greatest Springbok captains. There's been a lot of dedicated Springbok content happening over on that channel. So you guys wanted something like that, so we have gone and created it. But please go and give it some support, because please don't be the people that ask something you give and they're like, yeah, actually we didn't really want it, because we put a lot of thought into it, so that we can give you guys a place where you can go and find dedicated Springbok content, and that is going to be the place. So go and subscribe to it. And it's also a nice way of giving us different content, so not everything's on the same place. Also, very exciting, by the way, is today, I actually was almost a bit late for all of this, we were recording our first Forever Sports podcast episode. Actually ended up being such a cool episode. You might not necessarily know the person. He played Currie Cup, Varsity Cup, he's been an administrator, but has got a lot of insight into how the rugby structures work. And it was a fascinating chat. And I think, it should come out in the next few days. If not, we'll have to push to next week. But it's going to be really, really cool. And I really recommend, yes, you might not recognize the name, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was so interesting learning about analysis and how important analysis has become within rugby, for example. So not to sort of diverge too much, but it was a really, really cool chat. And I really hope the podcast that we're creating is what I've been wanting to do for a long time. It is one of my biggest passion projects. I love the long form conversations, the storytelling type of stuff, going into depth with what are some players doing, how do some players get to that level, what's happening behind the scenes. We've got a sports psychologist lined up, so we're going to be asking you guys what sort of questions you'd like to ask some of these guys. We've got an ex-Springbok lined up. We've got somebody who we all thought was going to be a big Springbok legend. Didn't maybe quite get there, different reasons, but had a really good career. Very interesting person. So we've got lots of different guests lined up. So we will communicate over the week what's happening with regards to when that Forever Sports podcast will be coming out. But in the meantime, go and subscribe to this channel as well if you're new, and do go and check out that Forever Box channel. Some very cool stuff we've got planned for it. But what else are we saying about this team, by the way? Eric says it's a good spirit of high and low caps. And Hendrik earlier saying we need to give the new guys a go at the start of the game to see if they can handle the pressure. Love the team. Eric's saying, great chat today. 20-point Bok win. Hit the like or yo. Not sure we get necessarily going to be a 20 point win, but I'm in for it, to be fair. If it is, all for it. All for it. And then VP said, why is our second 15 being put out? I would say Pat Lambie would be a good interview. Well, I can't promise anything. He is on the radar, though. So, very, very keen to hopefully get that conversation going. But those are kind of the players we want to chat to. We've also got a potential couple of Olympians lined up, which is also something a bit different. It won't necessarily just be rugby, by the way. This podcast is going to be sporting personalities and a lot more than that. So yeah, as always, people, please do ask us the type of people you want, kind of conversations, type of questions you want us to answer. Maybe it's not just a person type of thing, just maybe something you want to explore. So things like, for example, rugby agents. I really want to get into the details about transfers and contracts and scouting and that kind of thing, which my guest today kind of gave us a bit of insight into that, but we're going to go look at even more. Ricardo says the only change he would have made is Hanekom at 8. I think we'll see Hanekom against Wales, which would be a bit of a rub salt in the wounds type of move, wouldn't it? Given the fact that he was eligible to play for Wales. He basically said he had never planned. He was never going to play for Wales. It was never on the agenda. But it would be quite a funny thing that his first game is against the team we could have played. Contender says, fun fact, Mostert has 3 backups if push comes to shove. Snyman is a 5 option. Peter Steff, the toy, played 5 this season. And Lowe has played 5 for Bok under 19. We actually talked about Lowe today, the fact that he potentially might be a lock option, by the way, for the Boks. Jason Rick, it's going to be an easy win. And Adrian says, Rassie don't like Stormers locks, but Jean Klein was probably a train trip away. Yeah, he was very easy to just pop on over. Right, people, we're going to close up there because we've got to go get ready for tonight. We are going to be live at about 10 o'clock for that Ireland versus New Zealand game. Should be an absolute corker, crack of a game. Please make sure you do come and join us for it. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll see you guys all later. This is going to take you to that stream, by the way. You can go turn your notification on so you can get notified when we go live. Please do like it as well, or share it with your friends. But people, keep well, keep safe, and we'll